For this demonstration we're going to be using a couple of products, the Metal FX 3D texture paste and then also the stencil glue. So we're going to apply the stencil glue onto the back of the stencil. So literally all you need to do there is just squeeze a little onto the back of your stencil and then just using a sponge just dab that around to get a nice even coating. So just go all over your stencil like so. Now what you'll have to do is just leave that for about 10 minutes to actually dry and then it will be ready to use. Before you actually apply the stencil, just use your hand and just go over the back of the stencil just to slightly detack some of the glue. Then using a sheet of card as we've got here, we're just going to put that stencil in place. And as you can see, the stencil glue really does a nice job of holding it firmly to the surface of the material that you're wanting to apply the 3D paste. So let's just take the lid off and then just using a metal palette knife, I always recommend a metal palette knife, just start to spread that around like so. So you want a nice coating all the way over. So just keep on turning it like so until you go over all of the detail of the stencil. And then just take off any excess paste and then just pop that back into the jar. Okay, then remove the stencil and you'll see the nice crisp image it actually leaves behind. Cleaning wise, you're just going to need to clean that stencil underwater straight away. Right, we've now just trimmed the piece of artwork that we're going to use, and what we're actually going to try to achieve is just like a rusty antique type of look. So the colours we're going to be using for this particular project are the antique gold, the brass, the copper and also the aquamarine. So first of all we're just going to go over the entire lot with the antique gold. Now what's really good about the buffet is you can actually paint with it. So to paint with it, all you need to do is just take some out of the actual pot like so and put it onto a non-stick craft mat. Okay, let's just move that, and then just by adding some water, okay, then just go over the top of the antique gold. Just use a nice soft brush and then just apply that over the entire surface. So like I say, the sort of look we're going to be aiming for is like a nice sort of like rusty antique type look. So just go over the entire surface using the antique gold to start with. Then all you need to do is just let that dry for about 5 minutes. Right, once dry, what we're going to be doing is going to be adding another colour. This time we're going to be using the brass buffet colour. So again, we've put it onto the non-stick craft mat. We've added some water, okay, and we're just going to brush over that just quite randomly really. There's no right or wrong way. So just make sure you've just got a little bit of colour on the sponge brush and just go horizontally and vertically just to add that sort of like aged look to it. So again, just quite random strokes really, no right or wrong way. Okay, now if you want to darken that, then just go back over using the brass colour, and rather than actually brushing it like this, we're just going to dab it and just build up that colour. So again, just randomly on there like so. Now because they are water based, mixing the two colours actually on your piece of artwork is really easy as well. So if you want to do a little bit more blending, then just add a little bit more water to your foam brush and you can do that. So, okay, now we're sort of looking a bit more antique looking like so. Right, we're just going to bring out some more of the detail that was already there. So we're going to replace the stencil this time, just over the raised area. And this is a little bit of a cheat really, because rather than being very careful and using the buffet-like gilding wax, which you can with your finger, we're just going to apply the gold over the top. Now, because that stencil is in place, it will only touch the raised area of our design. So again, just randomly go over that. Just take some off, and if you want, you can go back over with your brass as well. So that's the sort of look we're going to be achieving like that. So it's just brought out the design just a little bit more. Now we're going to add the other two colours into this mix. So we're going to go for the aquamarine, and we're also going to be using the copper as well. So you want quite a wet mix here really. Okay, so add a little bit more water and then just pounce it over the area, and this is going to give your design that sort of like verdigris type look. Okay, and don't worry if you overdo it, you can always go back and then you can just redo that. It's easy to take off, very easy to take off. So like I say, just pounce it and just go into some of the detail where that raised area is that we did earlier with the stencil. Okay, just like so. And then what you need to do is grab another clean brush. Again, we want quite a wet mix here of this product, so we're going to be using the copper in this instance. Okay, so there's our copper, and again, just dab that over the top. Just go for a little bit more water on our brush there. And like I say, don't worry about going over the top of what you've already done, because you can keep on applying that colour until you get the sort of the aged look that we're wanting. So that one's just like so. We're just going to go back over with a bit of the aquamarine. So again, just apply just a tad of water to that mix, not too much. So let's just use, okay, round there. So it's like got the oxidization and the verdigris type effect. So that's what we've got so far. Now we're just going to mute that back just a little bit. So we're going to use the gold that we started off with, and again we're just going to pounce that just over the surface, just to fade that oxidization and verdigris type look just back a little bit, just merge it in there. Okay, like so. And you can just keep on playing to your heart's content until you find the sort of look that you're looking for. So we're just going to add a little bit more of that back there. And I think we're just about done. Okay. So just keep mixing those colours. And as I said, you know, the colours are very, very forgiving. They mix beautifully together. Okay, we're just going to reapply that stencil again over the raised area that we had. Okay, making sure that's all lines up nicely, and then we're just going to add a little bit of the gold back into there and just down there. Okay, and then we're going to go for a little bit of the verdigris just in one or two little areas. Okay, so don't go over the top with that. And then just a little bit of the copper over the top. Just gentle dabs of the foam brush. And then just very carefully just remove that. And then within about 5 or 10 minutes, we're going to buff that one up to a nice shiny finish. Now I've actually allowed that to dry, it's now time to just polish it up. So all you need to do is grab a piece of kitchen cloth and then just buff away. So just go in all directions, like so. And you can see already it's getting more of a shine to it. So just keep on going. When you've actually finished buffing it, that's the sort of effect you're actually going to be achieving. So it's a real like metal that's been oxidized, and there's a bit of verdigris coming around the edge there. Really, really nice and antique sort of look. So the sort of projects you could actually be applying that to is something like this. So we've got some rusty looking tags there, and then we've got on here, this is a bookbinding glue that has actually been melted onto the jar, and it's gone over there with the slate buffet and a little bit of the antique gold. And then you can see on the padlock there, that is exactly the same technique as I've just shown you on that large piece, as are the two tags on the side there. And then we've topped that off on the top of these, which is made of Fimo clay. We've just gone over the very, very raised area using just a little bit of the gold buffet just to highlight the detail. But that's the sort of projects you can be making using that type of a mix of buffet.